How's it going, everybody? This is Michael with Michael Garage Automotive Repair, and we were just starting a quick video for you today, doing a little bit of a tour of the shop, and gonna show you what I'm working on here a little bit. As you can see, a little bit of a mess everywhere behind me. I apologize for that. I've been extremely busy lately, and have not been able to get around to doing some of the little tasks I have, like removing all my cardboard there. Little background to start with. I started the shop about 2 years ago. I run it pretty much independently. I have a couple guys that kind of come by and help out when needed. But as far as that goes, I mainly do all the repairs and invoicing, parts estimation, everything. So, yeah, that's just a little background on me. I guess we'll get started and kind of chat about some of the projects I'm working on. So right here in front of us, this is a 2005 Audi A6 Quattro, and right now it's not feeling as Quattro as it should because there's no engine up above there. Yeah, the entire engine and transmission combo is right here on the floor. It got pulled for a leaking rear timing cover, along with a handful of other things, handful of leaks, things like that. So it's down here on the floor right now. So here is our engine and transmission assembly out of the Audi. Sitting there on our Volkswagen Audi Group approved platform table. You know, it works. So essentially we pulled the engine and trans assembly with harness, ECU, all of that. I have torn these engines out before by putting the front end of the car into service mode, which includes removing the front bumper, removing the front core support essentially with the AC condenser, the radiator, the fans, all of that good stuff. However, I realized that this is somewhat more simple, a lot less steps. The steps are, a little hard to deal with, but I think all in all, the difference between pulling the whole assembly versus pulling just the motor, it's quite a bit easier to just drop it out the bottom. We dropped it out with the subframe, exhaust still attached. It's pretty much impossible to reach the exhaust manifold bolts with the engine still up in the car, so we just decided to pull half of the exhaust with it. So I guess we'll jump into it. As you can see, we are in the process of getting everything reassembled. The rear timing cover, it was leaking from a spot right up here, essentially right where the timing cover meets the actual block itself. As you can see, I gooped up quite a bit of extra sealant on there just to try to prevent that from happening. And essentially the oil was just leaking right over the top here, filling up the entire intake valley right around the crankcase breather up top here. And it was spilling from right there underneath this crossover pipe and just soaking the serpentine belt in oil. It was frequently slipping the belt. Ran into a couple situations where the belt had to be thrown on the side of the road. So we decided that that wasn't really the best option as far as longevity, and we decided to go ahead and pull it. So while we were in the process of doing the timing cover, we ran into a few other things that had a few issues. We did it wasn't leaking, but we did the rear main seal on the back of the engine. Did the transmission input shaft seal where the torque converter sits. We also did, obviously we resealed the rear timing cover back here all the way around with RTV and a new O-ring for the oil filter housing on the inside of the timing cover, as well as oil filter housing seal on the outside for the housing itself. Along with that, I guess we start here. In order to actually replace the timing cover has to be slipped up underneath the cylinder head here. So you can kind of see there's our new head gasket there. But the timing cover essentially slips up and in. There's a few alignment dowels within there. And you also have to be able to slide the rear main seal onto the crankshaft straight without damaging the Teflon seal, because this is a PTFE rear main seal, so it is Teflon and very fragile. So that being said, it's a bit of a difficult task with the cylinder heads on. I attempted it, and unfortunately I failed trying to put the rear timing cover back together with the cylinder heads on. So we decided to just go for it, pull both cylinder heads, essentially clean the entire cylinder head up, completely stripped everything, valves, stem seals, everything. Stripped that all out, gave it a real good clean. So now our top end is, essentially looking brand new. It got a few new valves. A couple of valves weren't seating as well as I would like them to seat. We did an intake port walnut blasting on all of our intake ports here. They were very, very badly covered in carbon deposits due to this being a direct injected motor. So we decided to go ahead, clean the carbon deposits, cleaned our valves really well. I have done the walnut blasting procedure on a handful of different engines, a few Audi engines, a few BMWs, and a Ford EcoBoost. I have successfully done walnut blasts on all three different makes of engines. I guess the Audis would be the 3.2, the 2.0 turbo, as well as the 4.2 liter V8. The BMWs I've done is the N54, N55 series, as well as the Ford 3.5 liter EcoBoost. There are a few other engines that suffer from this, mainly all direct injected motors. So that is a good thing to do while it's all taken apart. It is quite a bit of a difficult task to do with the cylinder head still on the engine. However, with the cylinder heads off, you don't have to be as careful about getting walnut media into the combustion chamber. So we just went ahead and sprayed those like crazy, cleaned them up as best as we could, tanked our cam cages, tanked our cams, essentially just got all the residual oil staining off of the cylinder heads, did new stem seals, lapped valves, the good stuff. New camshaft actuator seals in there. We are going to rebuild our vacuum pump up front. We put a new seal on the backside, as well as this new gasket, the mounting gasket, but we need to reseal this front cover plate. It's leaking a tad bit. Besides that, we cleaned the piston tops, cleaned the carbon deposits off of the piston tops while the cylinder heads were off. We're currently waiting on a new fuel injector. We are waiting on the timing chain tensioners for both the cylinder heads, and we are waiting on a high pressure fuel pump sensor for the high pressure fuel pump that sits there. Now, Audi won't sell just the sensor. They would like to sell a full high pressure fuel pump, $750 unit. We don't want to spend $750 because our high pressure fuel pump works great. The sensor was effectively just broken and also contributing to the oil leak. So we're gonna go ahead and do a little more research to try to dig up a replacement sensor for that high pressure fuel pump. As far as the top end goes, that's essentially everything we've done, including all new seals and gaskets for everything, new water pipe seals, that water pipe that goes back to the heater core, that's got a new seal on it. We're essentially just waiting for those handful of parts to be able to throw everything back together. So very happy with the way this is turning out. It's just a project, kind of doing it on the side here. So just waiting on those parts, and by the time they come in, we should be able to throw it right back in and get this car running again, get it off the lift. Moving on to our next project here. if anybody can identify these parts, leave it in the comments below. Let me hear your guesses. This one, you got to be able to tell from that. I guess I'll just go ahead and tell you. This is a 22R from a 1985 Toyota pickup. I will go ahead and see if we can't get some of this plastic off of here to show you guys this fresh block. This block just recently came back from the machine shop. The truck came in. It was experiencing, I believe, what was caused from bad valve lash. Essentially, the the rocker was tearing the camshaft apart on the front and causing a misfire. Caused a lot of metal deposits to be thrown around the engine, so we opted for a full entire rebuild on this one. Getting everything from, main crankshaft bearings all the way to a brand new cylinder head. So we're excited to start this project. As you can see, pistons, the bore or the combustion chamber has been bored over. The mating surfaces for the cylinder head, we got that decked. We also had the engine hot tanked, and this engine will end up being painted after, partial reassembly. We're going to go ahead and paint it for the customer. He wants to do a black and make it look all pretty, which I completely agree with. I think that's a great idea. So there's our fresh block, nice and clean. Got to replace the expansion plugs due to the hot tanking. They get pulled out in the hot tank, so we're going to go ahead and replace those expansion plugs, get our bearings thrown in. As you can see, we've got parts here waiting to be cleaned, waiting to be prepped for reassembly. Aftermarket exhaust headers. We've got a few aftermarket parts in here. There's our brand new cylinder head down here. This is from Sunwest Automotive. We went ahead and tried Sunwest because they are local to us here in Washington State. They rebuild cylinder heads for Toyota and Subaru applications. We just wanted to give them a little bit of a shout out for the great help and getting the cylinder head to us quick. Looks like it's in great shape and ready to throw on. So we'll definitely follow up with a video about that after installation. So we've just been, getting all our parts in order, getting everything here and ready to go. Like I said, this engine just came back from the machine shop. It had been there for about 3 weeks-ish, so we've kind of just been amassing parts, getting everything ready. Our brand new oversized pistons. This engine will be a blast to rebuild. This one will be nice and fun. I can't wait to show you guys. So that's in the works. Just like I say, go ahead and getting all of our parts together. If you do want to see more engine rebuilding similar to what I do on a daily basis, please subscribe, drop a like, leave a comment. I really appreciate that kind of feedback. Really any feedback you have. Always looking for new and improved tools to help me for my day-to-day jobs. So if you do have any suggestions, also, leave that in the comments, because I love tools. I go crazy about tools, and I essentially want to buy everything that you guys suggest to me. So if you like what you see, subscribe, follow me for more, and I'll be putting more videos out as frequently as possible. Trying to get back in the mode of doing the YouTubes. So here we have a 2013 BMW 335i. This is the F30 body, N55 single turbo BMW. This car is coming in. It is on a JB4 tuner. It's experiencing slight hesitation, stuttering under heavy load. Usually within higher gear ranges, 4, 5, 6, a little further up on the freeway. Notice it stutter, kind of lack for boost, and occasional drivetrain malfunction errors going on with this. Our technology here at this shop, it's doesn't really want to work with this platform. It's having a hard time letting me data log on this car. We are also using the Carly app for iPhone, the Bluetooth connector. That one also is giving me a hard time as far as data logging goes. It doesn't really want to work too well with me, which I'm pretty upset about. However, we kind of have narrowed down the issues. There are a few intake leaks here. As you can see, it's a little jerry-rigged together. So we are kind of following those intake leaks. Did a smoke test, found quite a few leaks, small stuff here. Replaced the charge pipe O-ring up here, which this is an aftermarket metal charge pipe. However, we do believe that the issue may lie within the boost control solenoid or within the diverter valve down at the turbo. However, it's just a very involved process to be able to get down to that diverter valve. So we're trying to do as much diagnosis as we can to determine that that is the issue before we go ahead and start pulling the water pump off and doing all that fun stuff. So yeah, it's just a little more diagnosis, and then we should be able to make a definitive conclusion on what is causing these issues. Overall, super fun car to drive, great car, and it does seem to have quite a bit of power. However, when you do hit those oddball, oddball spots where you're trying to rev very hard in a higher gear at low RPM, the car likes to sort of stutter and fall off. There's a loss of power for a second, occasional drivetrain malfunction warnings, not always. So if you do have any insight to this one, or you've experienced these issues before on this platform, leave a comment, let me know what helped fix it for you. But like I say, I believe, just doing research, talking to people, the boost control solenoid right up here on top, and then the diverter valve down below, those are two very common failure points. So we are sort of leaning in that direction. However, it just requires a bit more diagnosis. So this is what we're mainly working on today. We have another customer vehicle outside, a Chevy Cruze, that we're going to go ahead and check out as well. And while we're not working on those, we'll just be going ahead chipping away at these engines being rebuilt. If you like what you see and you want to see more of this type of content, please leave a like, subscribe, drop a comment in the comments below. That'll really help get my videos out to more viewers and be able to create better content for everybody to watch. So if you enjoy what you see, stay tuned and we'll catch you on the next one.